to lose our spark. Original post. We opened our relationship at the beginning of the year after 5 years of monogamy because she expressed that she wanted to gain more sexual experiences after growing up in an overly strict household. There were bumps in the road starting out because I'm very monogamous, and I was having difficulty finding partners, while she was able to secure a lot of encounters and dates almost instantly. Things got a lot better after I went to therapy and learned to express my concerns and emotions in a healthy way. Our intimate life with each other remained healthy through this, but it started to improve after I learned to communicate my feelings. I met someone who's a great friend and also a great intimate partner after realizing that unlike my girlfriend, I'm not able to hook up with strangers without a bond, and that I had no real desire to gain much more experience because I grew up with significantly more freedom. My girlfriend started to become jealous of the bond I had started to create with this new partner and would do things to interfere with our meetups, like calling my phone constantly while I was with this person or throwing herself at me right before I was about to leave. This behavior started to reveal a pattern to me. Before this year, my girlfriend was very responsible. She was pretty good with money even when we didn't have much. She held down a steady job with steady hours, and she enrolled in college the previous fall in order to obtain a bit of upward mobility. But leading up to us opening our relationship, she began to almost regress. It started with spending her entire check on tattoos and piercings, which I didn't mind too much because I love outward self-expression. But then she started antagonizing her supervisors and showing up hours late daily or leaving early with no warning. Then this semester in school, her grades declined and she stopped showing up to class little by little until she had no clue when midterms or spring break were and didn't have a clue that finals happened and the semester was over. A month or two after I started hanging with this new partner and getting to know her even more and growing closer, my girlfriend took a leave of absence from her job for 2 months. She said it was for her mental health, but when I suggested therapy, she refused. She narrowed her encounters down to one consistent guy and stays with him for days at a time. This would be more of a red flag for me if I hadn't started a job this year that's at 12-hour swing shifts. She told me she hates being at home by herself, and because I work so much, it makes sense that she'd try to find somewhere to be while I'm gone. But then she started the food delivery services. She doesn't have a car or a license, so it would make more sense if I didn't already buy groceries and keep the house stocked with food. And because she wasn't making any money, she was spending my money. It's as if she has lost all sense of maturity. She gets frustrated when I bring up the money or the fact that when I'm at work and she's home all day, she does absolutely nothing except order food and lay in bed. She also shuts down when I attempt to have a healthy conversation about how I feel in our relationship, or she'll say that she doesn't notice anything different and that maybe I'm just making up things in my head. She eventually quit her job without having anything else lined up, and all of this caused me to grow distant from her physically and emotionally because it felt as if my needs in our relationship weren't being met, and she noticed immediately. She felt that I didn't find her attractive and was upset that I stopped initiating intimacy and that the quality of our sessions deteriorated. I tried to fix it and express how I felt in the relationship and why it was hard for me to want intimacy from her, but she kept saying I was just always calling her a problem. So now we don't hook up or even cuddle. We talk a lot still, but mostly about her partners. I hardly see her now. I still try to initiate it, but she's always tired or on her period or any other excuse, and when she tries to initiate, it's usually at the most awkward or inopportune times. All of the intimacy is gone, and we haven't done it in almost 2 months. I want to bring this up to her, but her frustration with these types of talks has pushed her to threatening a breakup, or says she's feeling like I'm never satisfied with her. She says constantly that I'm the man she wants to marry, and that she can't see herself with anyone but me, so it's a bit confusing. My working theory right now is that what I need in my life is maturity, and the partner I've found is exactly that, responsible but fun, and is all about balance and fairness. On the other hand, my girlfriend is looking for thoughtless fun and availability, and her partner embodies that as well. He has none of his own things, rarely goes to his job, and is easily aroused no matter what. I don't want to leave my girlfriend, and I know who she was and that the person I fell in love with, but I'm not sure that I care for who she is now. We've tossed around the idea of couples therapy once we get our finances back under control, but she doesn't honestly seem very interested in the idea. I'm just not sure what to do at this point. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. She doesn't let you talk about your relationship problems and then threaten to break up. I see absolutely no reason for you to stay in this relationship anymore. She doesn't want to try. She felt safe proposing the open relationship because she didn't think Opus would actually meet anyone. As he says, girls have a much easier time finding people who are interested. She intended this to be all for her benefit. But then he surprises her by being just as capable as she is, and she flips out because that wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to be trying and failing, waiting around at home the whole time she's out fooling around with other guys, so that when she's had her fill of that, and the drama that comes with it, she can unilaterally close the relationship just like she opened it, go back to the security he represents, and he wouldn't be attached to anyone else. But that's not what happened, so she's acting out like a petulant child because he's not acting in accordance with her plan. Yeah, sounds to me like he found a winner in this new relationship. His old one seems to be crashing and burning, and through no fault of his. Honestly, her suggesting an open relationship was the death knell to their relationship, and it should have ended there. That almost never works out, and just undermines any stability that might be left in the relationship. She seems to be on a self-destruct mission, and OP would be a fool to follow her down at that point, especially when he seems to have found a healthy relationship to move ahead with. His old relationship seems more like a friend-slash-roommate situation. You're not sleeping together. You have no other physical intimacy. She's sleeping with someone else. She tries to sabotage your other relationship. She's not working or doing anything else to improve her future. She won't do therapy. She shuts down your attempts to communicate. While all of the above is going on, she's enjoying your financial support and overspending. But she blames you for thinking she's a problem. This is over OP. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's totally understandable having some issues, especially when both parts of a couple are opening to something new. But communication and action on thoughts and feelings is a must. It's easy to go in an open relationship as a couple, but to walk away as a couple as well, there has to be mutual respect, understanding, and swift action to show that you listen and willing to change. Sorry to hear this, OP. I wish you strength and all the best in resolving this situation. Positive vibes from me. Open relationship aside, what you are describing are signs of potentially serious mental illness. I can't tell you what the right thing to do is. All I can say is, if I were in your shoes, I would give her the ultimatum that she either gets herself to therapy or I walk away. My hopes aren't high for this one. Sorry this is happening to you. I surprisingly haven't actually thought to do this. I don't typically use ultimatums like that. But then again, I do have a history of being terrible at setting boundaries. I think I may try this. Thank you. Now for the first update. The same day I posted this, she got a call from her mother, who was the main antagonist of her childhood. They've had a sort of surface-level relationship since she left home. Her mom stated her brother was going through a bit of psychosis due to self-isolation for the better part of his late teens, and that she had some realizations about how she parented her children and apologized to my girlfriend. It seemed to have unlocked something in her, and she let out a lot of held-in resentment. She asserted to her mom that she's going to start therapy because she's realizing that she's becoming her mother and she doesn't want to hurt people like she was hurt as a child. I'm not sure how much she meant this, being that she was extremely emotional about it. But while on break at her new job that she started last week, she's been applying for a second job, saying that she thinks having so much free time this year has been affecting her negatively, and she wants to work to have some emotional and financial independence. This is all good and well, but a lot of you in the comments have brought up some amazing points, and I think this is ultimately about figuring out what I actually want. I don't think hopping out of one relationship to another is something that would benefit me or anyone else in the long run, and I realize I do deserve to have some say of my own life and boundaries and desires. But I also know that relationships are work, but that work has to be mutual. I'm going to do a lot of thinking, and I'll update this post if there are any developments. Now for the second update. So, it's been a few months and I figured I'd update you all on the situation, if you're still curious. So a week or so after the original post, I realized things weren't improving. I went to some friends about the situation, and it was unanimously time for a breakup. I knew it was my decision to make ultimately, and I read through all of the comments from the original post, and decided that I deserved to figure out how I wanted to live life. So, I broke up with her and told her all the reasons why. I told her all of the things I didn't like and would need to change if there was even any hope of ever considering getting back together. She cried and we talked over the phone because she was never home when I was home, so we couldn't talk in person. She seemed to understand my reasoning and was saying she was going to work on herself. It was getting close to the end of the lease and I had found a new place with my roommate, and she was under the impression she was going to move in with me. I considered letting her move with me, but ultimately decided it was a bad idea, especially because she went on a rant about my friends and how she wanted to hurt them because she found out that they agreed that I should break up with her. So finally I told her she couldn't move with me. She went to live with the dude she had been seeing and she kept in contact. She never put forth any effort to improve. She constantly gave me updates of how horrible the guy is and offered me fun on occasions. Her situation with him started to mirror how she treated me, and immediately she realized that how he treated her was abusive and toxic. I explained all the parallels between her situation and our situation, and she gave a half-hearted apology. I got back into therapy and I've been doing great ever since. My finances are more stable than they've been in years, and I'm now dating the girl I was seeing before. This has been the easiest relationship I've had in my life. Our styles of communication are similar and how we show affection and care are the same. It was jarring at first because I've been so used to chaos and mistreatment, even in relationships before my ex. Dating this girl feels like finally having someone on the same team as me, someone dependable and consistent. Took a while to break habits of codependency and realize that I'm allowed my own space and freedoms with her. I had to get back into my hobbies and I started going back to the gym because I had started thinking back over the last 6 years of my life and all of the crap I put up with and sacrificed for my ex, and I kept blowing up on her, and my therapist told me it wasn't healthy for me to channel my frustrations out like that. So I've been a lot more productive and creative these days. Thanks for all the comments on the original post, even the ones that weren't that great. Holy crap, thank God. Good job, OP. Hoping for the best, and I hope your ex doesn't turn stalker. Finally, a story where the OP grew a backbone and stopped being a doormat. So the open relationship was basically the slow and more painful road to breaking up. Just my opinion, but I think they rarely do anything but drown the relationship. You're right, opening a relationship ruins it. The only way I see it working out is if it is open from the beginning, and that each person keeps who they sleep with to themselves, and that they wear or have said partner wear protection. I'm glad to hear things have worked out so well for you. Congratulations, mate. I hope that the similarities between how her new dude treats her and how she treated you have been the wake-up call she needs to improve. If not, then I have a feeling that while you'll keep improving yourself and your standing in life, she'll likely keep spiraling. Far be it from me to tell you what to do, but do you feel like it's wise to still keep contact with her acting how she does? Especially since she's offered to sleep with you numerous times. If I were your new partner, I'm not sure how comfortable I would be with that, to be honest. Regardless, I'm happy to hear life's improved for you and I truly wish you and your new girlfriend all the best. My finances are more stable than they've been in years, and I'm now dating the girl I was seeing before. This has been the easiest relationship I've had in my life. I'm happy for you, OP. Looks like life is much better than the way it was before. I've got to say that after reading your last post, this change, and especially the way the events progressed, is not all that surprising. Now for the last story. Wife's friend Dave. This post may not be as interesting as other posts, but I have no other places to seek advice. I, 27 male, have been married to a 30 female for 3 years. We have both been in relationships before and we acknowledge this. Wife has always made it clear not to have female friends and I respected it. Same to herself, I made the same demand, but she wanted to keep one friend. We shall call him Dave. Dave has always been an issue in our relationship, not only because I'm insecure, but when me and wife do not get along, he's at her side giving her advice. I addressed this issue with her multiple times over the years. And while she may have distanced herself from Dave, there was still an element of secrecy that Dave was still communicating with her. Wife says Dave and her are nothing, that he's too old for her, that he's only a friend that gives good advice, and a level of banter I cannot give as a husband. They are on the same level as she puts it. I take this as truthful statement and carry on. However, by chance, more recently I see a message on wife's phone giving Dave the address to our house. She cleared this later to be of a play date of our son and his daughter. My heart sinks as I assume the worst. I investigate further after a miserable day of anxiety bubbling in my body and explore messages on my wife's phone. After reading quite explicit messages of her actions with Dave, dated before our relationship, it becomes clear to me that before I met wife, her and Dave were friends with benefits. This wouldn't have been an issue if she was honest like she was with her other partners, but with Dave, it seems she lied about her past to keep him as a friend. I confronted her about this, about how disappointed I was about this. And while she was very reassuring that I was her only and she had never cheated, that it was the past before our relationship, I believed and forgave her. She has since blocked and deleted Dave as I threatened divorce. This ordeal has devastated me mentally. I placed an incredible amount of trust in my partner, and now I am unable to trust her as she lied the whole duration of our marriage about Dave. Although innocent, I am heartbroken. When I am alone, my thoughts become dark and I have anxiety peaks. My body vibrates internally and my face becomes numb. It feels like a stroke, muscle function in my hand becomes weak, and I can only focus on how a person I have trusted deceived me. I get flashes in my head of the talk between her and her friends' WhatsApp chat about how he came in her, and how she used to sneak out to fornicate with him, all predated our relationship. How a sacred woman in my life who'd never lie to me is now not pure to me. I want to get away, but I have no place to go. I need to speak to somebody but have nobody I can speak to. I want to live happy, but I just wake up every day feeling destroyed. She hasn't done anything wrong except lie to me about her past with Dave. But for me it was the principle that she hid her past to keep a guy who was already an issue in our marriage a part of our marriage. I trusted her to have Dave as a friend, as it was presumed that they had a mutually innocent friendship. I don't expect anyone to understand the level of trust I expect in my own relationships, so please be kind. I also apologize for the holes in this story. I tried to keep it brief. This post is more a cry of help as I don't know what to think or do. Now for the advice. This woman really said you can't have female friends, but let me have regular chit-chats and play dates with a guy I used to bang. Damn, I'd let Dave have her. The level of disrespect for you and your marriage is unbelievable. This is the right take. I'd have a hard time getting over this and consider it a significant breach of trust. I would go so far as to say the FWB is still a thing. Dave doesn't want a relationship, but gets her off better than anyone else has. She needed to look elsewhere for a stable, secure relationship, hence the marriage, but it's more a relationship of convenience than passion. It's deceitful, hence why you can't just get over it. She's a hypocrite. She didn't want you having any female friend, and you were okay with her having one male friend, and it turns out that it's someone she was intimate with, maybe once loved, and never told you about it. It's wrong, and it's not something someone who claims to love you should do. I get you, OP. It takes time to get over it. Sometimes you don't fully. I bet she still talks to him. Why would she stop? She doesn't see anything wrong with talking to him. And I don't believe the playdate thing. Yeah, playdate is an excuse to see each other.